Cop Watch, policing the police every single day.
Members of the jury, I understand you have a verdict. Members of the jury, I will now read the verdicts as they will appear in the permanent records of the 4th Judicial District. State of Minnesota, County of Hennepin, District Court, 4th Judicial District. State of Minnesota Plaintiff versus Derek Michael Chauvin, Defendant. Verdict, Count 1. Court File Number 27, CR 20-12646. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to Count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:44 p.m. Signed, juror foreperson, juror number 19. Same caption, verdict count 2. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 2, third-degree murder, perpetrating an eminently dangerous act, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:45 p.m. Signed by jury foreperson, juror number 19. Same caption, verdict count 3. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 3, second-degree manslaughter, culpable negligence, creating an unreasonable risk, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:45 p.m. Jury foreperson 019. Members of the jury, I'm now going to ask you individually if these are your true and correct verdicts. Please respond yes or no. Juror number 2, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 9, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 19, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 27, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 44, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 52, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 55, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 79, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 85, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 89, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 91, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 92, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Are these your verdicts? So say you one, so say you all.
Yes. Yes.
Members of the jury, I find that the verdicts as read reflect the will of the jury and will be filed accordingly. I have to thank you on behalf of the people of the state of Minnesota for not only jury service, but heavy-duty jury service. What I'm going to ask you to do now is to follow the deputy back into your usual room, and I will join you in a few minutes to answer questions and to advise you further. So, all rise for the jury. All right, be seated. With the guilty verdicts returned, we're going to have Blakely, you may file a written argument as to Blakely factors within 1 week. The court will issue findings on the Blakely factors, the factual findings, 1 week after that. We'll order a PSI immediately returnable in 4 weeks. And we will also have a briefing on, after you get the PSI, 6 weeks from now, and then 8 weeks from now, we will have sentencing. We'll get you the exact dates in a scheduling order. Is there a motion on behalf of the state?
Your Honor, the state would move to have the court revoke the defendant's bail and remand him into custody pending sentencing.
Bail is revoked, bond is discharged, and the defendant is remanded to the custody of the Hennepin County Sheriff. Anything further?
All
right. Thank you. We're adjourned.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.
and we're going to try to leave here today knowing that America is a better country.
Yes, yes, yes.
America, let's pause for a moment to proclaim this historical moment, not just for the legacy of George Floyd, but for the legacy of America. The legacy of trying to make America for all Americans, so that George Floyd's victory and America's quest for equal justice under the law will be intertwined. America, let's frame this moment as a moment where we finally are getting close to living up to our Declaration of Independence, that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equally, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that amongst them are life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. Well, America, that means all of us. That means black people. That means Hispanic people. That means Native people. That means Asian people. That means all of us, America. We frame this moment for all of us, not just for George Floyd. This is a victory for those who champion humanity over inhumanity, those who champion justice over injustice, those who champion morals over immorality. America, let's lean into this moment and let's make sure, Reverend Al, that this moment will be documented for our children yet unborn as they continue on the journey to justice, knowing that the blood of George Floyd will give them a trail to find a way to a better America, a more just America, where Breonna Taylor gets an opportunity to sleep in peace at night without the police busting in her front door. A more just America, where Ahmaud Arbery gets to run free and not be lynched for jogging while black. A more just America, where Jacob Blake and Anthony McLean and Walter Scott and Laquan McDonald and all these other black men, Terrence Crutcher, who was shot in the back while running away like Dante Wright was just a week ago, because for some reason black men running away from the police is more dangerous than young white men who commit mass murders and walk towards the police with an assault weapon, Reverend Bryant, like Kyle Rittenhouse in Kenosha, Wisconsin. America, let this be the precedent.
Yes.
Let this be the precedent where we live up to the high ideals and the promises when we say liberty and justice for all. Those sun-kissed children are included in all. Those children who overcame slavery, the Middle Passage, the Dred Scott decision, Plessy v. Ferguson, Jim Crow, and his much smarter, wiser son, Jim Crow Jr. Esquire. Let this be the precedence where we overcome systematic racism and oppression, and that we are a better people, and we will leave our children a better world for us all. At this time, we will hear from a great lawyer, because nobody does this alone. It's always a team effort. And we have the lawyers, the preachers, the civil rights leaders, the education leaders, the activists.
Yes, yes.
Let's give a big round of applause for the activists.
Yeah, that's right.
The people who stayed in the streets.
That's right.
The people who came nationally, but more importantly, the people who were here locally, who were standing up for George Floyd on 38th and Chicago Avenue, day in and day out. Silky, the people who wouldn't go home, wouldn't stay quiet. Reverend Jackson, the people who followed y'all example.
Don't forget about the witness. Donna Williams.
Donna Williams. Donna supposed to be here.
We should bring in Jeff Pegues, who is talking to people in the crowd. And Jeff, tell us what you're hearing.
It's been white, it was a no-brainer.
Well, these two ladies who joined me here at the government center here of Hennepin County, they were here when the crowd roared. When you heard the verdict, what did you think? You're a local activist here. What did you think about the verdict?
I felt relieved. I felt relieved that he was found guilty on all 3 counts. And now I'm ready for all the rest of the police that have murdered black men and women to be found guilty on all charges of murder.
But did you have doubts that you would see this day, even though you, like the rest of the world, saw that videotape?
Yes. I didn't have doubts that he was guilty. I had doubts in terms of white supremacy, and white supremacy saying that no matter if you're white, you can get away with murder as long as it's a person that is black.
Well, what in your history has informed your opinion over the years?
All you have to do is read about the history of black people since we've been in America, since 1619, year after year after year. We have never been treated like citizens. We've always been treated like slaves, and some say that we've been treated like second-class citizens, but for the most part, citizens has not been part of the equation when it comes to black people. And in Minneapolis, as I have a long history in terms of dealing with the police in Minneapolis, and the police in Minneapolis 15 years ago jumped on my son, and now we fast forward to 2021, and you take a person like me and we say, oh, I'm relieved that they didn't kill my son, they just beat him. We shouldn't have to do that. That's not what you do to citizens. And so what we're looking for is taking it to the next level, and the next level in terms of getting our freedom. And what does freedom look like for black people? Freedom looks like our right to vote. Freedom looks like our right to assemble without being shot at.
Thank you very much for your time. The crowd is taking to the streets here, and I wanted to ask you too. You were here to hear the verdict read aloud. You heard people here in this grassy knoll area outside the government center celebrating. Are you celebrating right now too?
Well, I need to follow my black leaders, my black women leaders who say take a moment, celebrate this time, and then we got to get back in that fight. And as TT said, there's justice for everyone who's been murdered. So we need to take the celebration. It should have been obvious. We weren't sure. And the fight is just beginning.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I'm sure you want to join the crowd that have now peacefully formed in the streets here. But there you have a sampling, just a sampling of the sentiment here after this verdict. Roll up.
Jeff Pegues with those powerful interviews. Jeff, thank you. And just want to read for people that apparently at George Floyd Square, the memorial where Floyd was killed, a woman nearly collapsed in tears hearing the verdict. And when she straightened up, she said, "We matter. We matter." That, according to the New York Times, reporting that the powerful reaction not only in Minneapolis but across the country. As we show you these pictures there in Minneapolis, that sense of relief that was described, and yet a sense that there is still a lot more justice that needs to take place.